The executives over at ABC News are freaking out in full-on panic mode, trying to figure out who the leaker is. The whistleblower, I should say, in this case. You see, for those that are following, Project Veritas released a video of anchor Amy Robach saying that they had the Epstein story years ago, but ABC spiked it. Now, this created a major press storm. Everybody wants to know what happened. And instead of doing the right thing and releasing the evidence and information they had covering the story, instead, they've sought to out the whistleblower. In fact, they've gone so far as to, ABC called CBS, where a woman was working for 4 days. CBS then fired her, even though she wasn't the leaker. This woman then did an interview with Megyn Kelly. She said it wasn't her. Project Veritas came out and said that is not the leaker. Now, here's the best part. You guys are going to love this. First, ABC is apparently doing some like inquisition where they're like taking all of the people and trying to figure out who did it. But a letter was released after this innocent woman was fired. It was released by Project Veritas, allegedly from the individual at ABC. I'm not going to read the letter, but it's signed Ignotus. Here's what I love. Because people at ABC, because millennials haven't read any book outside of Harry Potter, they're like, hey, Ignotus is the name of a wizard in the Harry Potter series. Maybe this person is young and likes Harry Potter. Wow. That's the first place they went. Okay. Do you know what Ignotus means in Latin? It means unknown. Quite literally, the letter is just signed unknown. Ignotus is just Latin. You're going to absolutely love the next part. But first, I have to give you the context that's going to make you laugh very, very hard when I explain this to you. The Daily Mail says top executives at ABC are freaking out amid a probe into who leaked a hot mic video where Amy Robach is seen ranting that the network spiked an Epstein story, an insider has claimed. Let's stop there and say, another insider now speaking to the press and talking about what's happening. ABC, you are leaking like a sieve, and there's nothing you can do about it. Perhaps the best thing you can do is release the interview and evidence that you had on Epstein. Because I'll tell you this, Epstein may be no longer among the living, but Bill Clinton is. And Amy Robach said, we had everything. We had Clinton. Whoa. Hillary Clinton is still influencing politics today. Bill Clinton is still alive. Okay? Perhaps it's important for the victims, or I should say alleged victims of Bill Clinton, that you release this evidence so we know exactly what happened. But no. After all is said and done, what does ABC News do? An inquisition to hunt down those that would share this information. Well, congratulations, ABC. Apparently now another ABC insider is spilling the beans. That's what you get. You try to shut down one person who did the right thing. Don't be surprised when another person comes out and does the right thing. And guess what? The leaker is still apparently working with Veritas. So congratulations. You can't solve this problem by continuing to do evil. Let's read more. The source claims ABC has searched emails and news logs in a bid to find the culprit and has been isolating and encouraging staff to turn against each other amid their investigation. Wow. Confusion surrounds a letter published after former ABC News producer Ashley Bianco was wrongly accused and fired from CBS. Why was she fired from CBS? It's a different company. This is creepy. The author admitted they sent the tape to Veritas and was mysteriously signed off as Ignotus. There's going to be a great reveal. There's going to be a great reveal, but I got to read more before I can reveal it, okay? You're going to laugh. Some of you probably already figured it out. They are freaking out over the Harry Potter reference. A Harry Potter reference, the ABC insider told Page 6. Does this mean the leaker is a Potter fan? Likely one of the younger staff members who worked the overnight shift? Or is the leaker citing Latin, which means he or she could be an older member of staff? I mean, how many young producers speak Latin these days? Is that, okay, if this insider is right, it's good. The payoff at the end of this video is going to be hilarious. Maybe not at the end. Maybe I'll tell you soon. But you've got to see just how obsessed they are with this, like, Ignotus. What could it mean? What could it really be? I'm going to tell you what it is, and you're going to laugh. Page 6 reports the source as saying the company has been isolating certain employees and putting them under pressure to turn on their colleagues regarding the footage from the Good Morning America anchor while she was not on air. Referring to Epstein's victims who accused him of lending her out for his friends. Okay, yeah, we're getting pretty woof. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on air. So we know all this. There's been a good deal of backlash against ABC ever since the video first emerged, with many people pointing out that none of the network's news programs have mentioned the story. CNN, surprisingly, mum's the word, huh? CNN can talk all day and night about just the same old, like they did a segment on Trump typos. I don't want to pretend like that may have been before, but the point is, you know what you get with CNN. They're not going to talk about the media. They're not going to talk about the real problems because they're buddies. Birds of a feather flock together. They don't really care to compete. They have look, I'll put it this way. I don't want to allege a big conspiracy. It's just that birds of a feather flock together. And if ABC sees a problem, they call CBS and CBS says, we got you, buddy. Don't worry about it. You're fired. And this woman, Ashley Bianco, did literally nothing wrong. Nothing at all. Veritas confirms it. So look, they're showing clips of Harry Potter. On Tuesday, Page Six reported the source also said the investigation into Ignotus reports back up the very highest levels, back up to the very highest levels at HR at ABC's parent company, Disney. It could literally be anyone. It could have been a janitor. Okay, so I've been to these control. I worked in this building in New York City. I used to work there back in the day. So 4 or 5 years ago. You could just bumble into a control room and see all the monitors. Someone, a janitor or even a guest, a visitor, may have seen it and filmed it. They may be hunting down an employee who doesn't even work there. They may be hunting down, they may be looking for somebody that's like the mother of an employee. It's just not, sorry. You're not going to figure this out. The best thing they could do is for those that are still concerned about what Bill Clinton may have done is release that story. Veritas editors confirmed the memo titled Why I Alone Released the Amy Robach Epstein Tape was written by the same ABC News insider who gave them the clip in light of the actions taken against those wrongfully identified as involved in the leaking. The message began in part by Ignotus to my fellow man. I came forward with this information bearing no motives other than to have this information public. To those wrongly accused, it is terrible that you have been lashed out at by the company. I know some may put the burden of guilt on me, but my conscience is clear. The actions of the company toward you are the result of their own and not anyone else. The public outcry from coast to coast of all people, creeds, and political affiliations is clear. I have not one doubt that there will always be support for you, and you will have prosperous careers, for neither you nor I have done anything wrong. Megyn Kelly in the interview. Okay, so we get all this stuff, right? Let's just let's read the very end of the story. It ends with just the statement from the letter, and I'm gonna bring you the best part next. We are all human and mortal, creatures of mistake and redemption. The road to redemption favors no soul. Sincerely, Ignotus. ABC did not immediately respond to request for comment. What could Ignotus be? What makes the most sense? Now, a lot of employees are saying, well, that's a Harry Potter reference because they haven't read any other books. Perhaps it's an older employee who speaks Latin. Drat. Who at ABC would speak Latin? How about this? No one. It's simple. What does Ignotus mean? Why, it's Latin for the word unknown. Who speaks Latin? Could it be Project Veritas? Because Veritas is Latin for truth? And is it possible that Veritas added by unknown on purpose because they don't have a name or they won't reveal the source? You know what, man? Maybe I just helped you guys at ABC out a bit. Maybe it was that simple. There's no Harry Potter reference. There's no Latin scholar working in your midst. There's an unknown individual who sent a letter to Veritas, so Veritas tagged it with Ignotus. That makes infinitely more sense. Or more importantly, it could be someone who leaked to Veritas, and Veritas, being Latin for truth, said, I'll do Latin for unknown. You gotta hand it to these media companies. They're not here to protect you. They are not here to protect the American people. And I got to tell you this, man, everything we've been seeing, especially with the impeachment stuff in the media and the whistleblower, I got to tell you, it's some of the most nightmarish and dystopian nonsense I've ever seen. Think about it. For one, look at what ABC News did with the Epstein story. They covered it up. And I say that, you know, in a understanding a bit it's a bit hyperbolic, right? But you can say they covered it up. They had the story, they had everything. If we take Amy Robach at her candid word, it sounds like they had the story and they got rid of it because of pressure from powerful elites. Now you can see what Facebook and YouTube are doing. We can't talk about the whistleblower, even though we've had high-profile journalists claim it's confirmed. Can't say his name. This is the craziest thing ever. There were some people who were tweeting out that with Epstein's unfortunate end, they must be really desperate. That's the conspiracy theory. They. I don't know what they is supposed to mean, and it probably means different things to different people, but I can imagine, at least for me, it has to do with the intelligence apparatus in the United States. I don't think that there is an Illuminati or a big conspiracy, but I do think that there are intelligence agencies that work together, intra-agency as it's called, and they have goals and they do things that are probably extrajudicial or illegal. I'm not saying that they did or are responsible for what happened to Epstein. I don't know what happened to Epstein, but I do think the story is quite fishy. It's just I don't even know how a reasonable person can conclude that what happened to Epstein makes sense. You've got the coroner, the autopsy famous pathologist overseeing it saying, nah, this guy he had his life taken from him, right? So you put all those things together and a reasonable person would conclude foul play. But man, I look at everything happening, right? The impeachment against Trump, these intelligence officials who have been from day one seeking to defy and betray. You have now Nikki Haley saying that even at the highest level, these people were trying to resist Trump. So Trump gets elected, and instead of actually being able to do anything, he has all of these weird things happening around us. Now let me tie these together. The media is supposed to be informing us. What do we get? Brian Stelter on CNN said Facebook and YouTube were being responsible by banning the name of the whistleblower. That's not responsibility. No private corporation should have the right to shut down freedom of the press and the right for the public to know. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. I did not reveal this man's name. This man's name has been out there. But all of these companies, I mean, look, I understand CNN and ABC are not the same company. But did Brian Stelter come out and say, whoa, this is a huge violation of ethics and journalism? No. He said basically nothing. It was like a blurb in a newsletter. Then he comes out and defends major tech platforms' political censorship and the shutting down of the free press. ABC contacted CBS and got an innocent woman fired. CNN won't cover it, but praises the censorship in a different area. I'm telling you, these media companies are not the fourth estate. They are an apparatus of the state. They are not here to protect you from the corrupt. They're not here to tell you about powerful individuals who are enslaving women and working with powerful individuals, even potentially a prince. That's not their job. Their job is to stop you from knowing these things. Their job is to accuse me of being a conspiracy theorist for pointing these things out. Their job is to hire people who are willfully ignorant, who don't do the real work journalists are supposed to do. I feel like there was this great journalistic apparatus in this country for a long time. And what they've effectively done is they've taken over. I don't want to say, I don't mean like a literal they. I mean the corporate interests, the special interests, those who sought to make money, took these things over. I'm not saying it's an intelligence conspiracy. What I'm saying is these companies are dominated now by those who seek to make the most money. It is not good for CNN to come out and talk about this. It's controversial, and it's going to cost them access. Mum's the word. ABC News doesn't want to talk about this. They were worried they wouldn't be able to interview Will and Kate. Mum's the word. You can't say anything. It's going to be bad for advertisers. These stories are bad news. Facebook and YouTube. YouTube censors content, not for the most part. It's not for political reasons. It's because they don't want to lose money. It's that simple, okay? YouTube would love all of this political commentary if the press wasn't ragging on them. It is these willfully ignorant individuals who are now coming out and saying that journalist John Solomon is a conspiracy theorist who's making it all up. Yeah, so John Solomon's the guy who's reported on Ukraine and the dealings with the DNC consultant and confirmed a lot of these details. But the story originated with Politico. Now we're seeing in the impeachment inquiry and all this stuff that he's a conspiracy theorist. He's basically out now. He's publishing on his own website. But I'll tell you what, he FOIA requested real documents. He has proof. He has evidence. Well, this is what they do. These media companies, not because I think there's a grand conspiracy, I think because they're concerned about their bottom line, will toe the line for the establishment and say what is profitable, not what's important. Because if John Solomon actually got access to a major platform, I mean, he's a contributor to Fox News, right? So they do like it. But if he was actually able to speak on all of these outlets, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, etc., I mean, there would be a public outcry for an investigation into the Bidens. It would be bad for business. They got deals. I mean, Chelsea Clinton, she had a deal for MSNBC. We don't want to get involved in that. If Clinton looks bad, we look bad for hiring her. And that's what ends up happening. What everybody needs to realize about conspiracies is that it's not always a group of individuals who are drawing up a plan and saying, here's what we're going to do. It's quite simple. Birds of a feather flock together, and no one wants to hold their own community accountable. Activists say, snitches get stitches. The police say, don't cross the thin blue line. We know exactly what happens when you snitch on your own. So when it comes to the wealthy elites, they're not plotting anything. They're not like, I mean, obviously the intelligence agencies have foreign policy plans, right? That's what they're supposed to do. But like ABC and Hillary Clinton aren't twirling their mustache to cover up Epstein. What's really happening is they're saying, are we going to lose access to the palace if we do this story? I don't want to do the story then. It's bad for business. And then you'll have people in politics saying like, we got this is corruption over at the big media companies, but hey, they cover me favorably. I'll talk to them. We'll deal with it internally. And that's what happens. The real journalists are the ones who have no problem speaking truth to power. Where was Amy Robach? Why, after 3 years, did she not blow the whistle? Why did she not come out and say, I refuse to stand idly by? Ronan Farrow did. They told him to stop the story, and he said, later, I'm doing the story. That's journalism. Good for him. But what about her? A lot of people have said, wow, it's sad to see her all angry. No, I'll tell you what. Amy Robach never came out and said, this is happening. It was only when her rant was leaked. She's never come out and blown the whistle, and even after the fact, tried downplaying it. And in that video, I do not see a journalist who's angry that she could have spoken truth. She could have been known. Or I'm sorry, I did not see an individual who was angry that she was unable to call it the corruption. I saw an individual who was angry she didn't get credit for it. That's what it sounds like to me, that she was like, I had this. It could have been me, my story. And now it's all come out. It wasn't her going, I could have stopped this. I could have let everyone know what he was doing. No. For 3 years, he carried on because she didn't want to speak up, because she preferred her high-profile job and her paycheck. That's what it's all about. Amy Robach did not collude with anybody to cover up the story, same as ABC did. She just wanted the money. I'm losing my voice. I'm going to stop now. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel, and I will see you all then.